Hey everybody. So technology changes constantly. Devices get old, you need to refresh, things go wrong. So what happens when that ties directly into your intellectual property? Well, that's what we're going to go into in this video. We're also going to do some guitar analysis for a song that I wrote back in 2011 called A Rose for Emily. Here we go. Four dreaded words. My phone just died. Okay, there are worse, certainly, to hear than that. But you get the meaning. Phone's dead. Maybe you got data in the cloud. Maybe it's stored on an external drive. Nonetheless, now you've got a process. You got to go to the store. You got to pick a new device. You got to find out what's going to work for you. Which operating system do I want to choose? Then I got to restore all that stuff that was on my phone, practically my lifeblood for existence, and I'm stuck with hours and hours of recovery. We've all been there. Same principle here. A little while ago, and this is a project that I have been shelving for a long time because I knew how painful it was going to be, and it was painful. I have an old device here. Served me very well for many years. Multiple albums recorded on it. It's a great little studio device. It's a Tascam Portastudio. It's a digital recorder. It's a step up from the Tascam Portastudio tape device that I had, a multi-track, four-track multi-unit that I had originally started recording songs on. So this was quite a step up. And this was used in conjunction with Cakewalk software on a laptop. Now, as you can see, there are buttons, levers, this, old school mixing and all that bit. I think there's automation that was allowed on this thing, but I never took the time to figure out how to do that. And then things got migrated fully to the laptop once I figured out how to get the software installed and get the interface moving so that I could record guitar and vocals. Nonetheless, a lot of material on this guy, and it's time to say goodbye. It takes up space, but stored all those tracks for over an album and a half. Biggest limitation with this is storage. Back in the day, storage was kind of a big deal. And there was only so much room that could accommodate the music. So what happens? Well, go track by track, port all the stuff track by track onto the laptop so that all those individual recordings are not lost. Some of the MIDI tracks were already stored in the new software, but the vocals, the guitar work, sound effects, all that stuff would have been gone had they not been properly ported over to the laptop for safekeeping and digital archiving. In that process, there's a rediscovery of some of the stuff that I had written for several albums. In fact, in a prior video, we talked about finding a hidden gem, piano gem that was written for the album Within. And this song on this album, there's a song on this album called A Rose for Emily. Now, the lyrics were inspired by a short story piece by William Faulkner, and it was originally published in 1930. And that story based the framework for the lyrics in this particular piece. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's talk about the technology and what this old device used to do for me. All right, so you see the faders on here. We're going to press the play button. This has Rose for Emily queued up. I'm going to kick it off here. And right now you hear nothing, and that's because all the faders are down to 0. Now we're going up. That's the MIDI track, the guitar, rhythm. Nothing at the moment. There's some lead guitar. There's the lead vocal track. And those are the four elements, basic elements of this particular section of this song, and we're going to do some analysis, deep dive analysis on the guitar a little bit later. But this just gives you a sense of how things were stored, one track at a time, with the exception of the MIDI track, which carried multiple tracks on it. And then the mixing all happened in real time. So when balancing the mix for the CD,
I used to use note cards, and with what volume level each track needed to be in, and roughly what particular time, and it was all a big dancing act of when stuff got brought up and down in the mix to kind of get a proper level. Things are much different, much easier now these days. And like I said before, there was automation in this, but I never took the time to figure out how to use it. But in any event, we're saying goodbye to this old friend. So there it is, and wanted to get this video recorded before all this material just gets wiped from this device. Alright, so if you've never read Rose for Emily, it's a macabre piece, folks. But if you're so inclined, check it out. I think you can find this online. I can't see why it's not. Published 1930, so I think the copyright is over. A lovely little love story. Anyway, so we're at the point here where Homer Barron's kind of been rediscovered. They've kind of unraveled the mystery now that Emily's not around, and in come the authorities, and lo and behold, look who's here, sort of. We're going to start the analysis by listening to the entire playthrough. This is all 4 tracks, not properly balanced. I'm going to maybe make some adjustments as it's playing through, but this is the overall effect of this particular section of the piece. It's the lead-in to that section. Good playing. Alright, so now let's break it down a little bit. We're going to start with the rhythm section. That's setting the foundation for everything else in the piece, and this is the rhythm guitar track. Okay, and it's the same pattern repeated the 4 times through the 4 times of this particular section. So I'm going to also put up the chord diagrams. It's very not too complicated. It's just a D with a D sus4 coming back to a D, D sus4 again, and then resolving on a C bar. After her death, they came to see at last what wasn't seen before. Another thing to note too is that the D and the D sus4 are played with an upstroke. So let me stand up and make this a little easier to see. So it's. And then a downstroke on the C5, C bar. So it adds just a little bit more texture. That versus. All right, now we're going to get to the fun stuff. I'm going to isolate that fast solo lick in between a couple of the vocal lines.
And then we're going to see if I can still play it. Here is the lick. Let's hear that again. I think I may have just been riffing on that. This may take a little time. All right. Oh. That's me not knowing what it was I played many years ago. Oh. But nobody really knows the truth about Miss Emily. All right, let's try to figure out that part. All right, I figured it out. Maybe 20 minutes in. It was easier than it is easier than it seems, but it is fast, and it's just one of those things where you look back and you're like, how did I do that, you know? And like I said before, I think I was just riffing and letting it rip. But the pattern, it's just a bunch of hammer on and pull offs, really. It's just done very quickly, and it's a matter of dropping a fret. So that's it. And I'll zoom in so you can see that better. That's just it. It's just repeated very quickly, and the pattern changes. So when you come back to the that part, starting once, then dropping down, then doing it twice, and then once, and then 3 times, and then once, and then twice to finish. So all together, I'm gonna play it slower than the original because it's tough to do, and it's very possible that I did a few takes of this and then just kind of stopped before my hand fell off. And that's basically it. So we're going to play along with the track at full tempo. Wish me luck. It'll sound much better with everything else going on because you won't hear the sloppiness with everything else, with all the accompaniment. There you go. That was easy, right? Hey, I hope you enjoyed this pseudo lesson and trip down memory lane. We'll catch you next time. Stay cool.